Hello students, I am Snehal from KLE Society's BCA College, Nepal. So in the previous sessions we discussed with the functional and the non-functional requirement which are associated with our system testing or any type of testing. Now mainly we are going to focus on the functional testing. So it is totally based on the requirement which we have collected from the customer. So the content which we are going to discuss in this, it is nothing but the functional testing. So what is the functional testing? A functional testing is a type of a testing which verifies that each function of the software application operates in conformance with the requirement specification. Now the requirement specifications are the requirements that are maintained in the SRS. Now the SRS is nothing but the software requirement specification, and it is maintained actually in the first stage of the software development lifecycle process. So the functional testing, it is a one of the type of a testing. Now here what they are going to verify, they are going to verify that each function of the software application, whatever may the functions which we are developing, it should be get operates in conformance with their requirement specification, according to that we can say that it should be get work out very appropriately. So that is the functional testing which we need to consider with respect to our systems or any software or any application. This testing mainly involves a black box testing. Now, what is the black box testing? A black box testing, it is a type of a software testing, or it is a type of a system testing or application testing, where we need to check out what the input is given to the system and what the output is coming from that system, which means that it doesn't matter that what the internal process is there, what the internal working of that particular module or application is there. So that is nothing but the black box testing, where we can say that they are not going to focus on what is the internal structure of a that particular software application. Only in which part they are focusing on only the input given to the system and the output coming from the system, and it is not concerned about the source code of the application. That is the thing which we mainly consider with the black box testing. Why? Because when we have learned on the white box testing, actually the white box testing is the transparent testing, where we can say that what the input is given, what the source code is written for an particular application, and what is the output coming, it should be get considered, it should be get defined previously. So it is a purely transparent. But when we are considering the black box testing, it is totally a hidden part. Why? Because the source code is doesn't matter over there which type of source code is written. Only what the concern is there, whether we are getting the appropriate result or not. So this testing mainly involves, okay, which type of testing? A functional testing mainly involves the black box testing, where we can say that it is not concerned with the source code of the application. So every functionality of the system is tested by providing the appropriate input, verifying the output, and comparing the actual result with the expected result. Now what it means that, now suppose if we have developed an application, now within that applications, if we are having two text boxes where we need to enter a username and the password. So what the input is needed to provide over there, we can consider that if there are the two text boxes, so how many ways we can enter the input over there? In a four ways. Why? Because it may happen that in a first case a user is going to enter the valid username but the invalid password. In the second case, you need to consider that user is going to enter a invalid username but the valid password. Again, in the third case, suppose consider that user has entered both the fields or both the input values in an invalid way, means what, they are not going to enter the valid input and the output. Also we need to consider that in the fourth case user has entered the valid username and the password. So what the expected result is there, if the user has getting entered user entered a valid username and the password, a home page will be get displayed. If the user has entered both the things inappropriately, a error message should be get displayed. If user has entered the valid username but the invalid password, then also the error message should be get displayed. if the user has entered the invalid username and the valid password, then also the error message will be get tested, will be get displayed. So this is the expected result. And now what is the output coming when they are entering the input values? It should be get compared. Now suppose if mistakenly what will be get happen, if the user has entered the valid username and the invalid password, then also the home page is going to be displayed to the user. Now where we can say that it is not where the actual result is not matching with the expected result, so which means that the system functionality is not working appropriately, the system functioning is not proper, where we can say that the every functionality of the system is tested by providing the appropriate input, verifying the output, and comparing the actual result with the expected result. So that is the functional testing. Now this testing involves checking of user interfaces. What it involves? It is involving the checking of the user interfaces, APIs, databases, security, client server applications, and the functionality of the application under the test. So what the functionality testing is going to be performed? This testing involves checking of user interface. Now user interface, it is the page where we can say that where the user is going to be interacted with the system. API is nothing but the application program interface. Now application program interface is actually required when we want to develop any software application. Now the databases are many more, and it should be get considered. Why? Because when we are trying to enter the different types of input values within that particular application, all this such a type of a data are previously maintained, and it should be get considered when they are or when the user is trying to enter the different types of input values. Also we need to consider the client server applications and the functionalities of the application under the test in the functionality testing. Now the functional testing, this testing can be done either manually or using the automation, which means that we can do the functional testing in a different way. It can be done either manually or it can be done using the automation testing. Automation testing are the testing types which we need to consider for checking a particular application. It is also available in a market, and our organization is almost trying to use an automation testing. Okay. Now the functional testing can be done by the can be done in a different type of a ways, which we have to consider. Why? Because the functional testing is nothing but checking the different types of functionalities of the functionalities which is stated by the customer, and it should be get maintained in the SRS, that is nothing but the software requirement specification. So this is all about the functional testing. So what the functional testing is? A functional testing is a type of a testing which verifies that each function of the software applications operates in a conformance with the requirement specification. Also this testing is coming under the black box testing, where we can say that there is no concern about the source code of the application. So every functionality of the system is tested by providing the appropriate input and verifying the output. Also it is going to be compared with the actual result with the expected result. Now this testing involves checking the user interfaces, APIs, databases, security, client server applications, and the functionalities of the application under the test. So this type of testing can be done either manually or automated. So the functional testing can be done in a different way. Now later we are going to say it in a detailed manner. So this is the functional testing, and thank you.